All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull the truth from ancient symbolism and modern neuroscience to talk about one of humanity's biggest mysteries, the third eye. Now, forget everything you think you know about superstition or magic. We're going to explore this for what it actually is, a biological upgrade for your nervous system. You know, for thousands of years, this symbol was everywhere. You see it on the foreheads of gods and sages, a clear sign of some kind of incredible power and wisdom. Ancient civilizations literally built their most sacred temples to awaken it. But somewhere along the line, the deep science behind the symbol got lost, and it just became, well, a decoration. And this is the first thing we really need to get straight. The third eye was never, ever supposed to be just a religious thing. It was a marker, a sign for a very specific biological ability, the power to see reality beyond just the day-to-day grind of survival. Think of it like a doorway to a much higher level of awareness.
So, to understand it, let's start by decoding the old stories. You see, the ancient myths about the third eye, they're not just fairy tales. They're more like encrypted files, passing down powerful truths from one generation to the next, hidden inside these powerful metaphors.
Okay, take one of the most famous examples, right? The Hindu deity Shiva. The story goes that his third eye can shoot out a fire so powerful it destroys the entire cosmos. Now, the myth isn't talking about some literal cosmic death ray. The reality it's pointing to is way more personal. That fire is the fire of truth, and what it burns away are your internal illusions, your fears, your ego, all the false stories you tell yourself about who you are.
So here's the key takeaway for this part. We have to stop looking at these ancient stories as just wild exaggerations. They're a code. They're basically a user manual for the human mind, just written in a language of symbols. And once you find the key to that code, you can unlock it. And it turns out that key is biological.
And that brings us from the world of myth right into anatomy, because all this encrypted knowledge, it's pointing to a very real, very physical thing sitting inside your head. It's time to meet the eye inside your brain. Say hello to the pineal gland. It's incredibly small. We're talking about the size of a grain of rice. And yeah, it gets its name because it looks like a tiny pine cone. It sits right in the dead center of your brain, a spot that mystics for thousands of years have called the seat of the soul. But it's not just its prime real estate that makes it special.
What makes the pineal gland so wild is its anatomy. See, unlike most parts of the brain, it has its own dedicated blood supply. It even has an independent electromagnetic field. But here's the real kicker, the part that should make you sit up and pay attention. It contains photoreceptor cells. Yep, the exact same kind of light-sensitive cells that are in your two regular eyes.
Just let that sink in for a second. All of this evidence points to one pretty undeniable conclusion. Tucked away deep inside your skull, you have a second biological eye. Now, it might not see the world of light and shadow out there, but you can bet it's designed to perceive something else entirely. Which leads us perfectly to our next question. If this internal eye isn't for seeing the physical world, then what in the world does it do? Well, we're talking about a kind of perception that goes way beyond our 5 basic senses.
So, when the pineal gland is awake and working at its best, it's the biological source of all these higher functions. It's where your intuition comes from, that gut feeling, that sense of just knowing something without knowing how you know it. It's the source of those non-linear aha moments, the ability to see the bigger picture, and those deep insights that can literally change your life. It even plays a huge role in how clear and vivid your dreams are.
Let's be really clear about this, though. The common misconception, the false idea, is that the third eye lets you see supernatural stuff, like ghosts. That's not quite it. The true perception it gives you is the ability to see truth directly, without needing a bunch of external evidence or a logical argument. It's the difference between arguing about a fact and just knowing it in your bones. Okay, so if we have this amazing tool, how do we switch it on? Well, this isn't some mystical hocus-pocus process. It's actually scientific. The ancients knew this, and believe it or not, they developed some pretty sophisticated technologies to trigger it. This is just brilliant when you think about it. These cultural practices were actually neurological tools. Putting a bindi or tilak on the forehead, right on what's called the ajna center, isn't just for decoration. It brings conscious awareness and a subtle pressure that stimulates the nerves underneath. The practice of tritaka, or candle gazing, is basically a workout for your brain's focus circuits. And chanting mantras, that creates specific vibrations inside your skull that resonate with and activate the pineal gland.
And now for the chemical key to all of this. Modern science is starting to suggest that during very specific states, we're talking deep meditation or peak experiences, the pineal gland actually makes and releases one of the most powerful psychedelic compounds known to man, DMT. They even call it the spirit molecule.
This chemical creates these incredible states of expanded awareness, feeling connected to everything, seeing reality in a completely new light. So here's the question. Is it just a coincidence that these modern, chemically induced experiences perfectly match the descriptions of consciousness from ancient yogis and mystics thousands of years ago?
The answer is a hard no. It's not a coincidence. It's powerful biochemical evidence. It tells us the ancients had already mapped these states of consciousness and had developed reliable ways to tap into the brain's own internal pharmacy.
So if this thing is so amazing, why is it dormant for most of us? Well, it almost seems like the modern world is perfectly designed to shut it down. The constant blue light from our screens messes up its natural rhythms. Certain chemicals, like fluoride, are believed to actually calcify the gland. But maybe the biggest reason is our own state of constant overthinking, anxiety, and fear. That state keeps our brains locked in survival mode. And when the body is afraid, the pineal sleeps.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section. What does it actually mean to reverse this trend? To unlock your own aware mind? This is about moving beyond your default settings.
Here's the core difference. The reactive mind, it pretty much operates like an animal. It's driven by raw survival instincts. Fear, desire, anger, and then repeat. It's a loop. But the awakened mind, one with an active third eye, it operates from a place of pure awareness. It can observe its instincts without being a slave to them. It's driven by insight, not by impulse.
And really, this is the main thing to walk away with. Accessing the third eye isn't about becoming supernatural or getting some kind of magic powers. It's about unlocking the natural, biological, human potential that's been lying dormant inside you this whole time. It's your birthright as a conscious being.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The purpose of this internal eye isn't just to show you the world as it appears on the surface. Its real power is in letting you see through the illusions, the social conditioning, the limiting beliefs, the fears, all of it, to get a glimpse of the deeper truth that the world is constantly trying to hide. It shows you the reality behind the reality.